hi there everyone, how you doing? I welcome you to another episode of Cooking with Saucy Sean's Fine Eats, where we make real food for real people. So I'm still in Kennesaw, still in the same hotel as my last couple videos, but I changed rooms because that one had a door to an adjoining room and it was just really noisy coming from there. I didn't need that, so I got a new room, so it's back to the same layout as my original kitchen. But there's things missing in this kitchen. There's only two pots. There's the big pot and there's the little pot. Little pots can probably boil some eggs in it, as long as you don't care if they're fully covered. But that's okay. We're gonna make do. So today, it's Sunday. Went for a little hike today, went for a longer hike yesterday, went up Kennesaw Mountain, National Battlefield Park. Anyways, went up the mountain and did about a 10 plus kilometer hike yesterday. It was nice. Today I was tired, did another like 3 or 4. But yeah, it's a good day. It's kind of rainy this afternoon. It's supposed to be thunder showering, so I thought, let's do some cooking. And what we're going to do is we're going to cook up some Nanaimo bars. Remember my Nanaimo bar failure? Well, this time they're not going to fail. I hope. This is going to be awkward because I really need a good heavy bottom pan to do most of this stuff. And what do I have? I need like a medium saucepan. What do I have? Garbage. So, we're going to experiment a little bit here. And we're going to see how things turn out. Sounds good? Sounds good to me. So to start this, Nanaimo bars, we need butter. There's lots of butter in this recipe. If you don't like butter, stay away. The original recipe, this one I got at a company's coming, but it does say you can use hard margarine. I guess you could. So we need 3/4 of a cup of butter. So we're using sticks of butter because we're in the good old US of A where they have sticks of butter. We're going to put in 1 stick, which is 1/2 cup of butter. And then we're going to put in another 1/2 stick, which is a 1/4 cup of butter. So that means we've put in, how much? How much? You guessed it, 3/4 cup of butter. Now normally I would put all these first ingredients in at the same time, but because of the limitations of my cooking utensils, what I'm going to do is just start with that butter in there and get it melting well before I add in 3/4 cup of cocoa. Oh, cocoa. God bless whoever figured out cocoa beans were good. I don't have 3/4 cup. That's weird. Maybe it's in my bin somewhere. These are really hard to read, especially when you're going blind. So I'll do 3/4. Look at that. Sean can do math. I'll grab this other bowl here and I'll just pre-measure this stuff out while the butter is melting. So there's 1/4. 2/4, and yeah, 3/4. Now I'm using this time, what have I got here? I've got Hershey's Special Dark Cocoa. No, I didn't realize that. It's Dutch, so it's Dutch process. And we need 1/2 a cup of sugar. It's kind of weird going shopping for stuff down here because if I go home, I know where to go to get what. There's no question. You know, if I want lots of graham cracker crumbs, I go to Superstore Wholesale Club and I get a 1 kilo box or bag of crumbs. It took me 3 stores to find graham cracker crumbs here. Okay, that's a little bit hot. Need to turn that down so it's not cooking the butter per se. So we're going to get this going here. 3/4 cup of butter. Been a nice day. What we want to do with this is heat and stir the first 3 ingredients, which is the butter, the cocoa, and the sugar, on medium-low until smooth. So we're going to do that. I'm just using the spatula here to stir because it's about the best stirring device I've got. I think everything else is dirty too. I didn't run the dishwasher this morning before leaving. Anyways, this stuff is now mostly melted, this butter. Well, a little bit more. Give it a little bit more here. There we go. It's breaking that up. I'm going to dump in the sugar and cocoa. And what I want to do is make sure we stay on really low heat here. I tried going to a Dollar Tree and seeing if they had any stainless steel bowls which I could use as a double boiler, and the one I went to didn't have anything along that lines. So yeah, I'm kind of stuck trying to not burn it doing it this way. It's been an interesting trip so far. Mostly eating in. Last night I did do something different where I went out for some fried chicken. Went to a place called Gus's. Gus's Fried Chicken. You should look it up. Really great story behind it. Really kind of cool story behind it. It's been around for years. It's actually, I guess, it's a fairly big chain, which didn't realize. I first saw it. I was driving downtown Kennesaw and driving through, and there's Gus's Fried Chicken. Oh, sorry. Gus's world famous fried chicken. Well, never heard of it. How can it be world famous? I mean, what fried chicken have they heard the world over? KFC. Does anybody care about it? Is it famous? No. Well, it's famous, but is it good? Not really. Anyways, I'm just double checking my recipe here. Yeah, I got that right. I got that right. Heat until smooth. Anyway, so I thought I'd give it a try, and I looked it up and researched it a bit more. It was started by, I won't remember the name, somewhere in Tennessee, I believe. And it started out of a tavern, started as a couple selling it as sandwiches, bone-in sandwiches. Really kind of cool. So, well, that's heating up a little bit more. So anyways, went and their chicken comes in one recipe. I guess their tenders you can get slightly different. For those of you who haven't heard me rant about fried chicken yet, there's actually a couple different styles, like overarching styles of fried chicken. I mean, obviously you got fast food versus not fast food. I'm going to need 3 cups of graham cracker crumbs. I hope I have enough. 2, 3. Just enough, folks. Just enough. Anyways, the fried chicken. Back to that. And there's boneless, which, you know, I just think of chicken fingers, but there's a whole food group of boneless chicken. This is bone in. Their boneless isn't as spicy, but they're bone in. They got cayenne pepper right in the bread in. It was actually really good. It was a nice heat that built a little bit, peaked, not too bad. Some people would cry, and then just went away. Didn't linger. So I've got this stuff smooth in the pot here. I'm going to add 2 large eggs, fork beaten. I'm going to get them in there. I'm going to stir them in. And they're going to help thicken up the chocolate stuff here. In this case, the chocolate stuff seemed really thick already, so I'm a bit... this is looking better, actually, now with the egg in there. It's almost like I needed more butter, but I followed the recipe properly. This time I did. Either that or I just can't multiply this recipe. Although I multiplied it for a catering event a couple weeks ago before coming down here, and it turned out okay. So, this is the base of the Nanaimo Bar. I got that mixed in there. Stir until thickened. So I don't have it on very high heat, so I want to make sure that egg gets cooked a little bit, because this is the only cooking that it's going to get. So, looks like the butter is actually coming up properly now. There we go. That's smooth and thick. Yeah, that's an ugly pan. So I'm going to remove some heat. I'm going to stir in the 3 cups of grain crumbs. There we go. 1, 2, 3, all in there. Then we're going to mix them up really good. I'm going to try it with a spoon. A nice big spoon. That pot lid is driving me bonkers. So the camera angles really don't work out great in here, so I hope you guys will bear with me. But the original Nanaimo bar recipe, well, it originated in Nanaimo, British Columbia, which is on Vancouver Island. The original recipe has got walnuts, coconut in the base, and yeah, chopped walnuts in the base. But I'm really not that nutty kind of guy. So I'm just going to finish mixing this with my hand, because I'm having trouble getting it all to mix together. It's almost like I didn't have enough butter in there, but I look at my math and I go, no, that was enough butter. I had the right amount of, oh, maybe I added a little bit extra cocoa. That could be why. But no, that should be compensated for by the lack of nuts. Anyways, we got a nice clumpy together crust here. So what we're going to do, where it can be seen. Oh, this can be seen over here. Taking a 9x13 foil pan, and I'm just going to put this in there. And spread it out nice and even. Want this to be fairly firm, because it's going to take the whole weight of this square. I don't make it sound like a big thing. This is just a really nice square, and I don't think anything like this exists south of the 49th here. Really not south of the Mason-Dixon line, which we are. Oh, it's getting dark outside early. What time? Oh, yeah. Anyways, there we go. So we've got our base. Now I'm just going to take a couple minutes here and wash out this pot, because we're going to need it in a couple minutes, and take care of a couple other things while I'm doing that. So I'm just going to let this base sit. If you're using a real baking pan, like one you're going to, reusable one, you don't need to grease it. You go into an ungreased one. So next thing we're going to do is I'm going to take a quick break, wash this pan, and then we'll make the middle layer, which is ice and sugar, butter, milk if you have it, and vanilla custard powder. Right back. Okay, I'm back, and man, is it raining out right now. I am so glad I went hiking earlier today, because I would not want to be outside in this. So basically what we're going to do is make an icing, which is the middle layer. So not much to it. We've got, I got to keep referencing my my recipe down here. This is definitely not one I've mastered yet. I always thought Nanaimo bars were really hard to make, but they really aren't. So we're going to need 3 cups of icing, or if you are in this country, confectioner's powdered sugar. So yeah, I had graham crumbs in there, that's fine. So 1, 2, 3. There we go. 3 cups of icing sugar. We need 3 tablespoons of vanilla custard powder. Bird's vanilla custard powder, the only brand I know of. This was also hard to find. I have no measuring spoons in this room. Okay. What size is this? This is got to be an 1/8 cup. That's a 1/4 cup. Oh, there it is, 1/8 cup. 39 milliliters, close enough. So we need 3 tablespoons, which is 45 milliliters of custard powder. So I'm going to do 1 of these and about a half. That'll give us about 45. I like this stuff. I've never really discovered if it has a taste or not. We'll figure that out one day. It does make a nice little yellow color to the icing, to the filling. We also need 3/4 cup of butter. I went ahead and melted this in the microwave a little bit because I don't have a mixer here, which means I'm doing this all by hand. So I want my butter to be extremely soft. And I'm supposed to use about a 1/3 cup of milk. I liberated, I don't buy milk, I don't drink milk. I liberated some milk from the breakfast nook down in the hotel here a week ago. It's already expired. So I'm going to do water, and the water is just to give it enough, just to soften it up a bit and make it usable. So we're just going to beat this up. If you have a hand mixer or a stand mixer, that is the way to go. But we need, as I say, about a 1/3 cup of water. So I'm just going to throw that in. That's a 1/2 cup. Oh, I'll throw in a 1/4. Oh, that's a 1/3 right there. Where's my 1/4 cup? Oh, there's my 1/4 cup. Use cold water. I'm just going to add it all right now, get it over with. And we're just going to mix this up. I think it would turn a more vibrant yellow if we actually used milk, and I don't know why that is. Must be something that reacts with the custard powder and the milk. But you know what I say, you can still eat it. So after we get this done, our next step is to make the top layer, which is chocolate. So we got to melt more butter and chocolate chips. Yay! I'm really not sure. It's only like 3 tablespoons of butter and a 1.5 cups of chocolate chips. I'm really not sure I can do that in that pot. I think I'm going to have to try it in that small pot. So as I said, normally this would turn a vibrant yellow color, and I think it does it with the addition of the milk. But you can see it's not just the color of butter right now, it's actually much yellower than just plain butter. So I think that'll work. I think I added, the water was too much. It's a little bit too runny because that'll never set hard enough. So I'm going to add about another 1/2 cup of sugar to it. Yeah, my numbers work. 75, yeah, they work. I'm going to add a little bit more sugar. About a half cup. What I would do in my recipe is say, you know what, just add it, a little bit of liquid at a time till you get the right consistency. I got to try the custard powder because this should be interesting. Oh, it does have a flavor. I don't know how to describe it. It's good though. Look at that. I'm spilling stuff on me already. My vibrant orange t-shirt. I like the orange t-shirts. They make it easy for you to spot people, especially if you're like a scout leader. Makes it really easy to spot your kids. So here we have our, yeah, that's a better consistency. Not quite as runny. It was just too runny. I shouldn't have added quite that much water. Probably quarter cup would have been enough. Just guessing here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, now that we've mixed it up really good and it's all smooth, and we're going to spread it evenly over our bottom layer here. Yeah, so the custard powder was actually hard to find. I found it in a Publix. It's a grocery store, for those of you who don't know. In the international food section, in with the British food. Which makes sense, because it is more of a British thing. Although you'd think that down south here, they would make a lot of custardy squares and stuff, but they make pudding, but who likes pudding? Anyway, so we spread this on here. Now, while we're waiting for the chocolate chips to be done, because that's the next step, it's going to be a little bit runny still. I'm going to put this in the fridge. We'll put it in the fridge and let it set a little bit while we're making up the chocolate chip stuff. Look at that. Can you see that? Oh, you can see that. Now, that, folks, right there is what makes a Nanaimo bar a Nanaimo bar. Yeah. Nope. Everything's good. I just dropped a little bit of the custard down there. I'm going to put this in the fridge and say just let it set that up a little bit. Don't have a lot of room in this fridge. It's kind of awkward. So the next step is the chocolate chips. So we're going to try the chocolate chips in this little itty bitty pot, because I don't see what other choice I have. So 3 tablespoons of butter. What we want to do is get that melting, but not cooking, not boiling, that'll have to do. So 3 tablespoons of butter. Handily, it's like Costco butter. It's labeled in tablespoons and everything. So we're just going to cut off 3 tablespoons. I just double checking my measurements and my math. Like so. We're going to put it in this pot on very low heat. I'll try number 3. I've never used this burner, so let's see what happens. There we go. We're going to get it melting. Melty. And then we're going to add, I believe the number is 1.5, yes it is, cups of chocolate chips. Now I use special dark chocolate, what's the stuff called? Cocoa. And I think I've also got dark chocolate chips here because, well, I like dark chocolate. But you can use milk. It's up to you. You know, it's all about, yeah, oh, this is semi-sweet. You can use milk chocolate chips. You can use dark. You can use kind of whatever you want. It's like, there's 1 cup. And there's about half a cup. It's kind of like Bob Ross and his happy little trees. I mean, that's what cooking should be, a happy little experiment. Something goes wrong, add a little bit more ice and sugar. It's okay. So many people, I think I told you guys this, I was talking to a friend who was starting to get into cooking. I mean, he's 40-something, and he's actually starting to get into cooking and enjoying it. And he was warned, well, if you're going to start baking, you got to be precise on your measurements. And I said, like, just relax. You don't have to be that precise. People will tell you that. People will say that. But let's be honest. So it doesn't turn out picture perfect or textbook perfect. So what? Enjoy it. Enjoy experimenting and trying different things and seeing what happens. It's part of life. It can't all be perfectly by the recipe. So I hope you're enjoying this because this is actually a fairly easy thing to do. I know it's taking me, holy crap, it's taking me half an hour. You guys are going to hate this video. It's way too long. But that's okay. Maybe you'll watch it, maybe you won't. Look, I got wet. I'll edit it down a bit so it's not quite as long because this part for the next few minutes here will be boring, getting this butter melty and then getting the chips melty. You could do this in a microwave. I prefer to do it in a glass measuring cup or something, which I don't really have here, so, well, we're going to try this. So we got the butter melting. I'm going to just put the chocolate chips in here. Do I still have a spoon? I still have a spoon. I'll just keep stirring these, getting them melted. Once they're melted and smooth, you don't want them to boil or anything, you just want them stir into smooth and cool them a little bit, and we'll go on to the next step. So when you're playing with your chocolate, melting your chocolate, you kind of get to a stage where it's almost fudge-like. You just got to take it a little bit past that. It's got to get a little bit more melty than that. See, right now the problem I have is that's not going to pour very well, right? I'm not going to be able to smooth that very well. So I'm just trying to take it a little bit beyond it. But I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it there with this pot. It's getting warm in this kitchen. That rain has brought some definite humidity down. So I'm not getting that smoothness out of my chocolate. So I'm going to add another tablespoon of butter to it. See if that helps, just to smooth it out. That's doing it, folks. Okay. Okay, so I think that's as good as we're going to get with this batch. It's not perfect. We'll see if we can spread it evenly enough that it will not just melt into the top layer. It's actually hard. I mean, I know it's a poor craftsman who blames his tools, But dealing with different styles and brands of food, like I don't usually use this brand of chocolate chips. I usually use Hershey's or, no, actually President's Choice, Hershey's. Yeah, those are the ones I normally use. So different chocolate chips will melt differently, react differently. So this all does add a challenge to what we're trying to do here. So now, shoot, I was afraid of that. It's kind of melting the filling. But what we're going to do is spread this. Spread this over top of the filling as best we can. You know, one day I'm going to do a video of an Nanaimo bar and it's going to turn out right. I swear. It's going to happen. Just keep watching long enough, you'll see it. Yeah, this chocolate didn't do me any favors. I'm blaming the chocolate this time. So maybe we'll call this a saucy bar. Yeah, see, that's why you're supposed to let the chocolate cool, but I couldn't get this stuff to melt right, so it wasn't going to spread well anyways, especially if I cooled it. So we'll see what happens here. I'm going to let this cool down now. I'm going to make some actual room in the fridge for it. After that chocolate has started to set, I'm going to score it into the lines. And after that, we will try some and see what it tastes like. So it's been about an hour or so. Or a little bit, about half an hour. What's beeping at me? Oh, it's probably the dishwasher. I stopped the dishwasher because I was in the middle of trying to do this video. Half an hour ago or so, I pulled it out, scored the chocolate. It's really important to score it before it's fully set, otherwise it'll crack on top and won't look good at all. Won't work well. This should look fully chocolate on top instead of kind of the mess it is. It still tastes good. I mean, look at that. That's classic Nanaimo bar. You got your base of graham crackers, your middle of the custard icing type stuff, and then your top of chocolate. This is so wonderful. Mm-hmm. One of my earlier videos was about the Nanaimo bar, and it didn't turn out. It's just really funny. I was just texting with Sarah that this didn't turn out perfect either. But it still tastes really good. Just doesn't look as good as it should. I give this a 2 thumbs up because it is a Nanaimo bar, Canadian tradition, especially Western Canada. Developed in Nanaimo, BC, which is on Vancouver Island. You know, they're a bit weird over there, but we forgive them for that because they made the Nanaimo bar. This you can cut into like 1-inch squares. I'm not good at cutting 1-inch squares. I always think they're too small. That's what a square should be, is about 1 inch, which 13 by 9 gives you 120 squares. A lot of little squares. So I'm going to take this into the office, see what people think of it, and hopefully they'll enjoy it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and like it, and make some comments and tell people about it. If you didn't, or even if you did, let me know. Let's try and have a conversation about it. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you enjoy this, and God bless you.